This is INCRadio, DCEM 954, the voice of truth, the official radio station of the Church of Christ or Iglesia ni Cristo.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to wherever you are tuning in from around the globe, because we know indeed we do have a global audience. Welcome to INC Radio Florida. Here, this is the sunny side up location of the globe. Again, we said that we are a global show. So whether the sun is rising over you, just like how it is here in Florida, or if the sun is kind of setting in your city, or if the sun is even far behind you, we're so happy to bring some sunshine to you. So thank you again for listening. I am Valerie Joy Ali. You can call me joyful because yes, indeed, I am full of joy. And I will be your host today. And I'm really excited to take you on this radiant ride today because I have a beautiful panel today. And we're going to be talking about some grown-up-ish things. Um, adulthood. Adulthood often looks like it's this glamorous thing, right? Especially as a child. But today we have some real life stories and some real life experiences from some ladies who will be sharing some of the challenges, some of the joys. I'm right here, right? Some of the joys, and then also some of the hard things and the unexpected things that come along with adulting into transitioning into being a what we call a grown up, right? But before I go around and introduce our panel, we have the Christian Family Organization. So, ladies, as I go around and I introduce you, inside the Church of Christ, we have the CFO, the Christian Family Organization. So, please introduce what part of the Christian Family Organization that you're in. And if you're tuning in to us for the first time, the Christian Family Organizations inside the Church of Christ is an organization that was developed to help support, preserve, and strengthen the families inside the church. So we have different categories, and our ladies in a moment will be introducing what category they're in. We have the Bookwood, which are our married members. We have the Kadiwa, and ladies, be prepared. I will be asking, what is Kadiwa? Kadiwa is the category or the season of life for our youth members that are 18 years old, not married yet, and above. Then we have our Binhi. Those are about 13 years old and up to 17 years old, and they're baptized. And then we have our CWS. Those are our little lambs inside the Church of Christ who are about 4 years old and up to about the Binhi age. So those are the categories of our CFO. So we're going to go around here in Florida. I'm going to kind of go navigate in Florida, and I'm gonna go to my sister over here, who's also in the central part. I'm gonna go to Sister Elida, who many of you are familiar with. So, Sister Elida, may you please introduce yourself? Let us know what part of the Christian Family Organization you are, and if you have any offices, the season of life that you're in.
Hello. Hi, everyone. I'm Sister Elida. I am part of the Kadiwa organization. So I am above 18. I know it doesn't look like it. I'm 24. I have many duties in the church. I'm an organist. I'm a choir member. I also help out with the CWS. And our local CFO as well. So I'm excited to be here, and I can't wait to talk about life so far with womanhood.
I love it. Thank you again, Sister Elida. It sounds that your plate is and your heart is full, and we love that, and we're excited to dive into that. We're going to kind of go a little bit more to is it like Western, like more to the coast in Daytona Beach, right? So, Sister Denise, welcome. Please introduce yourself and the CFO that you're in, to know a little bit more about the season of life that you're into as well.
Hello, everyone. My name is Sister Denise. I am also part of the Kadiwa organization. I have a few duties in the church as well. I'm in the choir, like Sister Elida, and I am also a CWS teacher. which I really love doing and I'm gonna miss doing, honestly.
Oh, we're going to get into that too when we start talking about, transitioning into adulthood. So when you say that you're going to miss it, we're going to ask you a little bit more about that in just a few. Oh, thank you again, Sister Denise. And now we're going to go more west. Well, actually, Sister Denise, you were east. Now we're going to go west, right? We're going to go to the west coast of Florida, and we have Sister Cass with us. Sister Cass, thank you for being here with us. Please introduce yourself.
Good. Hello, and thank you for having me join again. I'm Sister Cass from the local congregation of Tampa. I am Kadiwa by age, CWS mentally, but not and I am District Kadiwa president. I am a CWS teacher, and I'm a finance officer.
I love it. I love it. So, all of you are Kadiwa, right? So we mentioned Kadiwa is the season of life in the Church of Christ of when you are 18 years old and above, right? And so this is kind of like that moment, right? When you transition into 18 years old. Do you guys feel, so we're going to go around the house. Is this that moment when you turn 18 that you're like, yes, this is adulthood, this is part of being grown up? I'm gonna go ahead and move over this way to Sister Denise. What was it like, like once you became Kadiwa, right? What was that like for you?
Oh my gosh. Honestly, like you don't even feel it. Right when you turn Kadiwa, you still feel like you were Binhi. Like you still feel like a child, but there's like an added expectation.
Ah, ha, ha.
Yes, there's now added expectations and more responsibility. So you still have this thought of like, oh, I'm gonna do so much stuff, but then there's that part of reality that's like right behind you, that's like creeping up on you, like, yeah, you could.
You know what? So talk about that expectation, right? So what be like when you have to transition from that moment? Like you said that you don't feel it. It's true, you don't feel it because you're like, it's another day, it's another
Right.
year,
Yeah,
right? So what were some of the expectations that you felt like during that transition?
of course. Yeah. So honestly, like that label of you're an adult, kind of, right? You're still
Kind
18,
of.
but you're kind of being labeled as an adult already. So there's that expectation of you already have your career planned out. You already have
Hmm.
something in the line, right?
Hmm.
You have some things like step by step that you have to execute as you get older.
Hmm.
But when you're in a Kadiwa, that's not it. You're still trying to figure yourself out, first of all. Uh,
Hmm.
but yeah, so that's kind of like the expectation of like, hey, you should have it together at this point.
Do you feel like you had it like mapped out already by the time you were 18, like you had your career? Because if you can share with all of us here, like what was that like for you and where are you at now?
Okay,
Because
so when I turned 18, I think I was still getting my associates. I was going from high school, right?
so were
And then
you were already a high school graduate at this time?
I was already a high school. Was I? Oh my God,
Is that
it's
far
so
back?
long that I can't remember anymore. But I was still in school. I remember that. And yeah, I had expectations of like after I'm done with school, I'll have a career already, you know?
Mm. And was that the case?
Oh, absolutely not.
Okay. But you did have a plan, right? Because what are you in now? What are you studying now?
I'm still in school.
No, but tell us more about what you're actually doing. I mean, because I've run into you sometimes.
Yeah, so I actually went from doing an associate's at a community college and then transitioned into going into the workforce after I got my AA because I was like, I didn't know what I was going to do.
And what is
So
your AA in?
my AA was just general education,
Oh, really?
things specialized. And
Ah,
so,
but now
uh,
you're specialized. You are
sort of,
specialized.
yeah. So I went into pharmacy for work and I
Mm.
liked all there and decided to go to school for that. Yeah,
Okay, there you go. Well, it definitely was. I like the fact that you've shared that you went in with a general idea, and then it wasn't until you were working that you realized that, wait, this is what I want to specialize in.
exactly. Yeah.
That right there is adulting right there. You're like, wait a minute, this was not what I expected, right? Definitely not. And thank you for sharing that. I definitely would like to hear from our other ladies. How was that transition? So for you, Sister Elida, how was that expectation, like transitioning from, as soon as you turn 18, like Sister Denise mentioned, was that the same thing for you, going into school and then thinking about what you want to do as a career?
Yeah, I agree with Sister Denise when she said that it doesn't hit you right away. It's almost like life keeps going. You turn 18, you're like, "Wow, I'm finally 18." And then you're like, "Am I though? Why do I feel the same? Like everything feels the same. Like what so now what?" It was almost like a now what that I had to ask myself. And when you're younger, I think you said it earlier, Sister Joy, when you're younger, you all you want to do is grow up,
Hmm.
right? Like all you want to do is mature. All you want to do is be like mom, be like dad. They have a job. And then now that we're here, it's almost like, oh, how do I go back? Like, how can I, knowing the things that you know now, how do I go back and how would I do things differently? I think about that all the time. So it's almost like I feel like part of growing up and going into that adulthood, not only is it like what Sister Denise was saying with education and career and jobs and all that, it's also a mental thing, right? Like you don't fully understand where you are or how old you are really until a little bit later.
You know
Like
what? I want to tap into that because you said, like, it's not until that moment that you feel like these responsibilities that you're like, wait, can I go back? What are some of the responsibilities that you were like, "Ah, wait a minute, I have to do what? I have
yeah, I specifically remember I turned 18 and I asked my parents, I'm like, so what do I do now? Like what is different? Like what do I do? And they're like, I don't know, you just keep doing what you're doing until I had to ask them questions like, how do I build my credit? Because I was like, I don't know how that works.
Mhm.
How does all of that, any of that work? How do I get a car? Like how do I
That's
how do
right
I do
there.
yeah, how do I do all these things? Oh,
Mhm.
how do I go to doctor and dentist appointments by myself? Because
That's
I
right.
remember
Yes, that's true because at
yeah,
18, you're no longer considered like
right.
pediatric, right?
Yeah,
That's
right.
right.
And with my dad, he's a military, right? So at a certain age, they're you're not part of their like
That's right. Like the health
yeah, their
benefits and the
plan, yeah, their
health.
health stuff. So when I got a job, I had to do that. Had to have my own stuff through my job. And I just remember my mom being like, "You're gonna have to do all these things by yourself." And then it's just so funny because like you just turned, you remember just being like 13, 9 years old, your mom's bringing you to all this, and now you have to do it yourself. So
That's real. That's
yeah, it's real. And then a couple years of doing that, you're like, all right, well, okay, I'm getting used to it. All right. You're more independent. But
Mhm.
then I feel like when you get more independent, now mom and dad are like, "Oh, wait, can we go with you here? Do you need help? Do you want us to be there with you?" So it's almost like it goes backwards.
It's funny. That's what parents love. They're like, wait a minute, my baby's
Yes.
growing up. Wait,
Yes.
remember me?
Yes. Exactly.
All those responsibilities do come back, and it's
Mhm.
oh, that's so funny. That's definitely adulting with them where you're like, wait, how do I do this? Wait, I
Yes.
can drive, but now I gotta pay for what? Car insurance?
Oh, that's another thing. I didn't know how to like filling up my gas. I mean, I knew how to do it, but I remember I was like, how do I do it? How do I fill up my
You know what?
gas
Thinking
myself?
about that, just filling up a gas tank for those who do have gas vehicles, it's actually quite complicated, right? I mean, that's adulting right there. You're like, there's so many different steps, and unless somebody stands there and walks with you.
Mhm.
Um, it can get complicated, and it varies from vehicle to vehicle, right? Let's go over to the West Coast now. Sister Cass, tell us a little bit about that season of life too, what that was like for you. And especially being a Kadiwa president, right? You actually have a lot of that, a lot of transitioning Kadiwa, coming in that are under your care. So tell us what that was like for your experience, and then tell us a little bit too how taking care in the organization of those that are transitioning into that stage.
Okay, so I mean, I'm different than previous ladies. I will say that I had bills since I was 16 and I was working. Like,
Wow.
I got a job at 16. My mom's like, okay, you're taking care of this now. So it wasn't like I didn't have time to enjoy myself, like that transition. But I would say, like, 18 was, I didn't drive. I was still in high school. And
Mhm.
so it, you kind of are still like depending on mom and dad. You're still in school surrounded by other children. So it didn't hit until after high school graduation, basically for me.
Mhm.
Um, but I mean, life hit me really, really hard because the same year I turned 18, there was a big recession in America.
Ah.
Both my parents had lost their jobs, and so I had to transition into working 4 jobs at once after high school, to help my family, my household. So I didn't have any time to stop and breathe and be 18 because life never stopped since
That's
that
true.
period of life. So I always feel like I'm adult until, like Elida said, until I have to fill out tax forms and then I get completely confused and I'll be like, Dad, what is it I'm supposed to put here again? Do,
Listen,
do
there's
I
some
have
adults.
do I have dependents? Like, what is that? I depend on myself. Do I count myself? Like, do um, and so, I think back and I understand that the youth today that are turning 18 aren't going to have it like how I had it when I had to turn 18. So there's a lot of difference in compassion and navigation for them. Like, as I help them transition from, okay, now you're 18. These are the acceptable things. These are not acceptable still. Like, no matter what, you still, doesn't matter how old you are, mom and dad have the final word. Listen to them,
Mhm.
respect them, never throw in their face, well, I'm 18 now, I'm an adult. No,
Mhm.
you can never do that. So, like, those are the kind of reminders that transitioning Binhi to Kadiwa are told when I speak with them. Because a
Yeah.
lot, especially in media, and you kind of hear it when you're walking in a store or some, you hear those kind of things of children telling their parents, and we're not like that, and we cannot be like that.
Yes,
So
for
got
sure.
to remind them that.
I think that's really important. And one of the common denominators that I'm hearing here is, during that transition, right? It's like first it's like that financial transition, right? You're like, whoa. Um, I was the same thing, Sir Cass. I mean, I was fortunately I didn't have my parents didn't have to rely on me, but I started working also at an early age too. And you learn quickly once you step into that financial like responsibility, you're like, whoa, you have to manage your own paycheck. You have to, you're doing all these other paying for all these different bills, right? And you're like, oh, there's a due date for that, right? I think I hear that in all of you. And then thinking about, okay, yes, you're at this age now where you need to map out your career. What are you doing? Right. I think that's the moment, right? That we all feel like, oh, but mentally, I love how you kind of touched on this, Cass, is that we have to remember that we have a support system, that we have our parents that we still have to go to, even though we feel grown, right? We're grownish, right? We're like, yeah, we got to do this. So what was that like mentally after like getting hit? You're like, man, I got bills, I have this career, I have to get serious. um I want to quickly talk about that too. So mentally, how was that and in your self-esteem. When you, the moment that you realize, like, yes, I have these financial responsibilities. Yes, I have to really start thinking and mapping out my career. I have to get serious about this. Mentally, what are you going through when it comes to this? I'm going to go back to Sister Denise. What was that like?
So that one was actually like you don't realize it until later.
Mhm.
Mentally, you're kind of just on that go, 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 right?
Mhm.
Because you have so much that you have to do
Mhm.
and so little time because that sense of responsibility. So you don't realize until you reflect on it afterwards
Uh,
that realize like, hey, you need to, everything is going, but you can slow down and think about what you're gonna do. So it's a lot of self-reflection. It's
yeah.
a lot of, relying on, especially in times when you feel like you don't have anything in control,
Yeah,
right?
for
It
sure.
was a lot of like, what can I do? Lots of prayers, lots of
Love it.
honestly like
Prayers. Yes. Yes.
self-reflection.
I love
Yeah.
it. I love how you mentioned prayers are so important during that time. And and you don't have to be an adult to do it, right? But it kind of centers you, realigns you again. Because as members of the church, we have that gift. We have that gift to be able to connect back with our mighty God and seek for that guidance. And again, we mentioned the CFO. Sister Cassie mentioned, right? Like, those transitioning Kadiwa, that are transitioning, we have a support system in the CFO, the Christian Family Organization, which is beautiful. Um, Sister Elida about talk about that moment where, like, oh, wait a minute, that aha moment too, mentally, after that what's going on for you during that time.
Yeah, to piggyback on what Sister Janice said, where you get that kind of pressure.
Mhm.
You're older. So there's that expectation of, okay, so now you have to start thinking about your future, right? So not only your education, not only your job,
Mhm.
but relationships. Like
Ah.
you have to think about, do you want a family? Do you want
Mhm.
to when do you want to get married? And I don't know about you guys, but I get asked that all the time. When are you getting married? And I'm like, um,
Yeah, I know, like, it's like marked on the calendar, like, oh yes, this is the
somewhere, yeah,
time.
somewhere down the line, I'm
Right.
getting married. I don't
I
know
mean,
when. But I think that's a part of the pressure that we experience, and it's not meant to be like to make us feel bad about where we are or whatever. It really is just like, oh man, that's true. I really should be looking. I really should be
coming to
finding that person. Yeah, and it's scary because with us, we find that person, that is the person you marry, that's the one you're going to be with. So it is a little, that pressure, I think, to me is a little scary too, to
Mhm.
you know remember that when you pick someone, or when someone picks you, when you're with someone, you're for life, and you got to be careful. But of course, God will bless us always. So it's something that I always think about. And I don't know about you guys, but I plan my wedding every like 3 years, just randomly, just in case,
There's a
you know.
blanking.
Yeah,
Just in case.
just in case it happens one day.
Oh,
The,
that's
the
fun. I think
Pinterest
every
board
girl,
is
yeah,
up.
I think every girl does that.
I
And
think so.
Denise, you've got to tell us a little. You've got to get in this
I
part.
agree. I was gonna go back there. I was like, so what's going on there?
Yeah. Okay. Tell us. Yes. Show us the ring. Yes. And that's one of the things, right, that we were talking about earlier. You were saying,
Mhm.
like, you're going to miss being a CWS, a children's worship service
Yes.
teacher. So, when you showed us the ring, what does that mean?
It means I'm
Beginning-
engaged and
yes.
planning a wedding that is coming up very, very soon, might I add. And yeah, there's a lot of pressure added to that as well. And like with the added responsibilities that you're already doing as an adult-ish person. And adding that, it's very exciting. It's very like nerve-wracking a little bit. But yeah, once you act like Sister Lida said, once you find your person, like
Mhm.
it helps. Yeah.
And that's important. That's really important. And that's definitely one of those transitions too, finding that you said it is scary. You're like, this is the commitment, right? This is a lifetime commitment. And we talked about the financial responsibilities, right? You're like, I got to pay what kind of bills? The mental load that you take, and as women, you are thinking, you are prepared, and let one of a little girl's dream, like you said, you're preparing for your wedding. Sister Lida, is there a special someone you want to share that is there?
Oh no, I
Oh,
just do it for fun,
it's
Sister
just the
Joe.
wedding.
I just do that for fun every couple years, just to make sure that I'm ready whenever it happens. I'm ready.
That is so fun. So if you need an event planned when it comes to all that, you have to see Sister Lida, right? Oh my, well, Sister Cass, I'm going to come over to you. Like we talked about all these unexpected, like, all these things that come up. Um, Tell us a little bit of some of the unexpected things too, because I know that you feel like you had to kind of grow up fast, right? So what were some of those, while it felt like probably everything was unexpected for you, right? And you got to keep going. What are some of the lessons that you've learned because you had to do this a little earlier?
I would say the biggest unexpected lesson is that I am left unsupervised all the time. Who trusts me to walk around Earth by myself making decisions? That that's the biggest lesson. But other than that, I mean, there's a lot of parts. I am also a first generation college graduate, so no one in my family before me had ever went to college, and that meant navigating financial aid by myself and
Yeah.
figuring out all about school paperwork and all that stuff. And then I did it 3 times, so um, it was a big shocker for me, going to school. And then I mean, even that, a big lesson for me personally was, do not compare your path with
Oh,
someone.
yes.
I mean, I graduated my associates at 27. It took that long because I had to work 4 jobs prior to,
Mhm.
and I see my friends, 22, they're already engaged, buying houses, they graduated college, all of these other things, and I would kind of get sad and be like, why am I so far behind everybody around me? And so to have, when I realized, like, you can't compare your life,
Mhm. That's
your
right.
trajectory with the next person, it was a whole game changer because associate at 27, I got my bachelor's a year and a half later. And by that time I was like, wow, I can actually do this. So it took me a year and a half to get my bachelor's. So I finished early and all this other
Yeah.
stuff. I
Yeah.
thought I was done with school, and then I was like, well, let me get a master's.
And get-
Now I'm also the middle child, so about getting my doctorate just so my siblings call me doctor.
Oh.
Education was a big thing, and it was a pathway for me to be able to not just help my family even more, but then still be more independent for myself, and then still be able to do everything that I need to be able to perform all my duties, because my career path allowed me to get a Monday through Friday 9 to 5 job. So I was, weekends are off. I have my worship service days on midweeks. I'm able to do activities and, help in preparing and executing those activities. So it was my career path that was my college and career path that, like, really allowed me to put everything together so that I can be who I am today. And I'm grateful for all of that, even if I had to start at only 16 years old, right?
I think that is so well said, and it was so appropriate that it's coming from our district Kadiwa president, right? That I think all of us ladies here, and can you believe that we have reached the bottom of the hour? Ladies, thank you for sharing. But well said, Sister Cass. I mean, we cannot compare our personal path, right, to everyone else's. While there are guides, everyone's path and everyone's journey is going to look definitely different. And we're so fortunate and we're so blessed as members of the church that we have support systems, we have spiritual leaders, and like we mentioned, right, prayer. That's definitely something that can guide us through this this adulthood transition for all of us. And as we reach the bottom of the hour, thank you all for joining us, especially to those of you who are tuning in with us. We're so delighted that you have joined us today. Please continue to stay connected with us because we are so grateful to always have you. We definitely cannot close out the show without sending our love and our greetings to our dear brother Eduardo V. Manalo, our executive minister, brother Angelo Irania Manalo, our Deputy Executive Minister, Brother Manny Ndaya, our Executive Producer, and Brother Wally Taray, our Station Manager. And special shout out to Kuya Tech, who always takes care of us. Thank you all for joining us. Have a great week.